Welcome into an emergency edition of Locked on Astros. We got some key updates for you on Yordan Alvarez, Michael Brantley, and Lance McCullers. And Jeremy Pena is going to be in the lineup tonight. So let's talk about this. I got my friend Rick Griffin joining me on the mic to discuss all these things and what they mean to the Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked on Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett Htown Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked on Houston Astros, and we are your daily Astros podcast. I am Htown Wheelhouse. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. You can find the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you get your podcast. Everywhere, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, become an everydayer, and make sure that you check out all our podcasts, our post game. And I got my friend Rip Griffin. Eric is on the road today, and Rip dropped in and said, "Hey, man, why don't I join you? There's some stuff we need to talk about." I said, "I'm about to do an emergency podcast." Rip, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Hey, you can follow me on Twitter at RipGriffin3. You can follow me also at the Texas Baseball Report on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So, covering baseball Texas style.
Yeah, so let's get to it. You are head of Texas Baseball Report, and you do a great job over there. You're building a nice little channel there. You cover all things, minor leagues, Division I, just various Texas baseball, stuff like that. Speaking of that, a little local flavor, the Pearland Lady Oilers just won the 6A state championship. The Pearland Oilers baseball team got to the final game and got beat by Flower Mound. But both our teams in my district I teach in, made it all the way to state. So that was cool. But look, the first guy up, the leadoff man, the best hitter, I think, on this team, not think, but know on this team as well. Probably one of the best hitters in baseball and an MVP candidate, Yordan Alvarez. We got an update on him, and we're going to show that right here from Brian Lima. Brian and Sean interviewed Dana Brown like they do every week. And they said that that oblique injuries are tricky. It'll take 2 weeks to see how he's healing, then 1 week to see if he's doing baseball activities. So that's 3 weeks right there. We don't want to rush him or put a timeline on it. Now, I'm going to get your comment on this here in a second, Rip, because right after that, Sean asked him, so is it safe to say that we won't see Yordan until mid-July or August? And Dana said, well, I'm not going to say that. I think that's putting the cart before the horse, basically.
Right, yeah.
What do you think about this?
Well, I think with any type of injury, and the one that Yordan's got, which is that oblique, and with his frame and his structure and how he swings the bat so hard, you want to make sure that everything is healed up nicely, because he is the heartbeat of this lineup. Whether it's the Astros trailing a couple runs or they need a good insurance run, you've got Yordan coming on, and whatever team is there within their rotation or the bullpen, and he's a threat every time he steps up to the plate. So having him fully rested, because the Astros are wanting to make that push to October, and this is the time where we start to see teams break away, and health is going to be key getting into July, the dog days of summer, August, September, and the Astros need all hands on deck. And it's important whether it takes 3 weeks. If we see him after the All-Star break, fine. The Astros will figure it out. But he's the ticker that makes this lineup go.
No, yeah, definitely. And last night I was at the game, and I was out in the outfield, and Chas McCormick was there with Michael Brantley and Corey Julks, and they were chatting it up. And I'll give an update on Michael Brantley here in a second. But it's so key that guys like Julks, McCormick, Myers, Dubon when he's in there, because Dubon at this point I think should be in the lineup somehow, some way. Kyle Tucker hitting a home run last night is key. He only has 9 home runs. I would think at this point Kyle Tucker would at least be at 12 or 13, and he's had his struggles at the plate. Bregman has heated up. I think a key thing to look at this Yordan Alvarez is, we've talked about this on the show, next man up, is you also got Abreu. Abreu is hitting well, Abreu is seeing the ball. He's hitting the ball to all fields. He's pulling the ball. And he's had, 4 multi-hit games in June. I think he had 2 or 3 in all of April and May. And so this is a good trend for Yordan, for Yordan to see his other hitters. He was in the dugout last night. He did congratulate Mauricio Dubon. We saw his big smile. So he's at least with the clubhouse. I think that's a good sign as well. But, going to someone like Michael Brantley, this is a year where I at some point said, I don't think Michael Brantley's going to return. We may have seen his last days. And we got some promising updates on Brantley. And this is what Brian Lima quoted from Dana Brown. He said, we're really excited about Michael. He has no pain, and people will start to see him, see more of him, doing more. We could use him in a big way. He's feeling no pain. He's actually throwing, hitting, and running. That was on Sean Unfiltered on Sports Talk 790, the Astros flagship station. What does it mean to have someone like Michael Brantley on the cusp of coming back?
It speaks volumes to this lineup that needs help. And you mentioned it, and I agree, because I was also on the fence whether or not we were going to see Michael Brantley back this year. And to get this news today that he's making great strides as far as getting healthy and getting back into this lineup, it brings a more versatility to the lineup now. And you mentioned Corey Julks and, of course, Chas McCormick. And, I mean, what Mauricio Dubon has done this year has been fantastic. But you get a consistent professional hitter like Michael Brantley at the top of your lineup. Now, what Dusty does to restructure whenever Brantley does come back into the lineup is going to be interesting to see. But we get a little bit more depth and a little bit more reassurance when we need that insurance run, or we need somebody to come through in the clutch. We know we can count on Michael Brantley to do so, because he's done it before for the Astros in the past.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw that Pena got an extra day of rest. He had actually been sick, so there was no injury, no worry or concern there. But since we're talking on June 14th, Wednesday's game, the second game against the Nationals, Dana Brown does anticipate him being in the lineup. And before we move forward, I want to talk to y'all about the Gametime app. Gametime is the app that you really need to make sure that you get, especially if you are going to the Astros game. Gametime has this really cool thing where they have what's called the Gametime guarantee. And if you grab your tickets on Gametime and then you look at another website, let's just say, I wonder how much these tickets are going for. And you look in the same section, the same row, and you find them cheaper at another place, report it to Gametime. They will credit you 110% the difference. That puts more money in your pocket. And it's not just baseball. You get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Make sure that you go to Gametime today. Get images of your seat before you even get there to know exactly what it looks like. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. I use it. I actually used it yesterday for my tickets. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. So download the Gametime app today, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Let's bring Rip back in here. Rip, thank you for joining me on short notice. I'm sitting here trying to get our overlays in. Eric is usually running the ship here, and you can see I'm a total noob at this. But thank you again for joining me. Hey, dude, you just got through on your podcast interviewing CJ Nikowski, talking some Rangers baseball, and I think it's a key thing to recognize before we moved on to Lance McCullers, and before you wrap up on Dubon being a key piece of this team. How big is it for the Astros to only be 3.5 back and still be in the midst of kind of this injury storm?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see. We're talking to CJ just a little while ago, and the Rangers they definitely have some holes to fill. Whether or not it's through the bullpen, the lineup, the starting rotation, they've got some things that they are doing to kind of bolster their rotation. So, but this is the time for the Astros to kind of capitalize on that, because the Rangers are going to be doing a little bit of roster reconfiguration. And if the Astros can get healthy and get Michael Brantley back and kind of start to solidify their lineup, we all know this Astros team is great. And whether or not the Rangers can sustain this level of success through the rest of the season, it's going to be interesting. And that's kind of what CJ and I talked about. And whether or not it's going to be a fun series when these two teams get back at it, it's just a matter of that timing, right? When you start off hot to begin the season, but sometimes you're going to cool off. And that's what we're probably going to see with the Rangers here during this stretch. Now that's the Astros opportunity to kind of take advantage of that, gain some momentum into the division. 3.5 games is it may seem like a lot, but with the Rangers losing last night, the Astros winning, you gain a half a game up on there. So it's just a matter, you just got to continue that success. And the Astros, they definitely can do it. And once they get healthy, the second half is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
No, yeah, definitely. Because we really do, outside of Tampa. Of course, we play Baltimore, New York. But if I look in June, we've got 2 more. If you're watching this on Wednesday, versus Washington, 3 with Cincinnati. Cincinnati can kind of be scary because they are the team that's not supposed to win a lot of games. But we are going to see one Hunter Green, who has more 100-mile-an-hour fastballs than anybody in Major League Baseball. The dude can absolutely throw smoke. He can shove for sure. Mm-hmm. Then you got the Mets coming in. The Mets, where I thought that was going to be a key series. The Mets and the Astros, maybe a World Series preview. Whew. Oh, man, the Mets are in some heat, dude. I don't know if you saw Scherzer went 3 1/3 innings. And folks, that is why, and I would say this with kind of caution, because we did sign a 36-year-old Jose Abreu who is actually turning it around. But that is why you don't sign 2 aging pitchers to $80+ million contracts a year. It is simply insane. But we got the Dodgers, who I'm excited about, St. Louis Cardinals, and then the Rangers and the Rockies, and then Seattle, and then the Angels, and then the Rockies again, and then Oakland, and then Texas. So we don't really hit tough competition until the end of July. So if we can get Yordan back around mid-July, I think that would be key. Now, Lance McCullers' future, I don't have an actual update, so I don't want to say like I've got a true update, but this is what Dana Brown said when talking to Brian and Sean this morning on Sports Talk 790. He said we will have an update that we'll share this afternoon. We'll update everyone today. I wanted to wait till today to do this, but I have an appointment with the Space Cowboys. Going to be sitting down with Joe Record, talking to him about his closer role and how he's been key there, and talking about key people. Before we move on to Mauricio, Lance McCullers, do you think it's going to be good news, or do you think it's going to be bad news? I mean, I'm not saying to predict, but for me, I've been on the train that I just don't think Lance is going to pitch this year.
Usually I like to think of myself as an optimist, and I like to, think that he's going to be back. But honestly, if we haven't seen any progress here in June, I honestly don't see him coming back this season. If he does, it might be a bullpen type position, because you've got the rotation. You got to give your hats off to Brandon Bielak and JP France for kind of holding it down. But we saw Lance McCullers kind of come back late last season, and he did well, but he gave up that offer in the World Series. And that's one of the most crucial parts of the season and a big time game. And I don't think the Astros want to rush him back. So if they want him to get some innings in, put him in the bullpen and see what he can do if he is healthy enough to go.
Yeah, exactly. And this guy right here, Mauricio Dubon, look at it. He just pops up on the screen. This guy,
Mauricio.
That's right. Mauricio is awesome. And I've actually started a little all-star campaign. I haven't really put any graphics to it, but I will this week to hopefully get Corey Julks to the all-star game. I think that might be a tall task, but he's up there for DH. I have not voted for Ohtani once at DH. I know a lot of people think that's probably committing baseball heresy, but look, Corey Julks is my guy. Look, look, Ohtani's going to get there. Okay. He's already got almost 1 million votes. But Mauricio Dubon, Dana Brown said, and we've known this, he is so key in this lineup. He is ready to play. He's a super utility guy. We know what he can do. And last night he did it. I called him the Honduran hammer. Look,
I like it.
We had the Honduran hammer. We had the Honduran hammer. Then we had Martin Baldonado. I mean, look, it was great to see kind of Crush City 2.0 show up last night because they hit the ball in bunches, 2 runs in 3 different innings. But Mauricio Dubon, Rip, what has been your overall evaluation of this kid, of what he's done, not only at the plate, but also with his glove in the field?
Now, first of all, I love his name. You go, Mauricio. I mean, it is absolutely, I mean, just watching him play this season, and you can tell he put in the work in the offseason. He went to Yordan Alvarez and they talked, and they maybe worked on some of his things that he needed to work on. And he came in this season ready to go because he didn't know. I mean, you have Jose Altuve, which is going to be your second baseman. Okay. But he came in prepared for whatever position, whatever role the Astros wanted him to do. And that's absolutely phenomenal. And the way he's been able to do it to start the season off with a 20+ game hit streak. And even though he's sat a couple games, he still comes back and he puts the ball in play. We're not asking Mauricio Dubon to hit homers. We want him to put the ball in play, and that's what he's doing. And he's hit a couple of long balls along the way. But watching him in this lineup, and he's kind of like the second tick behind Jose Altuve. Altuve will get it going, but if he's not in, Dubon gets it going for the Astros as well.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's great. And these are updates. We definitely don't. We don't like to have injury show updates, but we do like it when there is positive mixing with the negative. Rip, this has been a great little episode. Thanks for sneaking in here. Thanks for reaching out to me. We had talked about you joining me tonight, but you'll be doing some recon work yourself. Tell us what you're doing for Texas Baseball Report tonight and let the people know what's going on.
So tonight we will be hitting to the road. We are heading off to Seguin to catch the Seguin River Monsters. They are part of the Texas Collegiate League. It's a college league, wood bat league here in Texas. So they are taking on the Victoria Generals. So we are going to go check them out, get hopefully a couple of interviews, and kind of just watch them. They got a great setup there in Seguin at Smokey Joe Field, and it's going to be fun. Old-timey field, but it's baseball nonetheless. So it's going to be fun, and definitely looking forward to it. We're going to go watch them, and hopefully they get the W tonight.
Yeah, that's right. For myself and everyone here at Locked On Astros, we wanted to drop in because we know you guys are thinking about it, and we want y'all to know that everything is going to be all right. My name is Htown Wheelhouse, and this has been another exciting edition of Locked On Astros. Whether we are talking about injuries, post-game, whatever's going on, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, become an everydayer, and check us out. Check out my guy Rip out on Twitter. Give him a listen. Thank you so much, Rip, for joining us.
Absolutely.
And as we always say, go Stros. The Honduran hammer, baby. We need another home run.
I love it.
And Baldonado, bro. Baldonado.
Oh, that's nice. I love that too. Go Stros.
Go Stros.